We are up. Holy buckets. There it is.
That's
Everyone.
what she said. Oh, sorry. Do the intro, Lindsay. You're in charge.
Hi, guys. Welcome back to our show. As you can see, the problem is back. And
Rose between two thorns. Hang on, I got to put my headphones on.
Between two bald guys. And we have an interesting topic for us today, which I came up with, so I apologize ahead of time.
And
drum roll, please. All right, so I've seen two kinds of videos on TikTok recently. I have seen a plethora. Are you done with us already, Country Board?
What happened?
He says, "Are we done yet?"
Wait a minute. We got to be nice to Country because he has not had a good week. He emailed me off. Country, I'm not going to out you on anything you said to me, but I hear you, brother.
All right. Well, I have seen two kinds of videos back to back constantly on my For You page, and that is a group of women who apparently the tiniest, infinitesimal, bare minimum of consideration and care towards their partner, male partner, like I'm going to the store. Hey, do you want anything? Which is what I do with my husband. Is apparently, I'm not your mom. I'm not your mother. And then on the other hand, in the same breath, we have a whole group of girls who are saying, well, why would I date a guy who wouldn't drop everything for me? Because my dad would do it for me. So I expect you to do it for me too. And I'm like, now, wait a minute. This seems a little odd to me. So you expect a man to treat you like you're his daughter, like infantilize you. And that's expected, that level of care for the guy. But just like the bare minimum of consideration towards your partner is acting like his mother. Explain this to, like, you're going to have to draw me a map because Evil Knievel couldn't make that jump.
You want the two guys to explain it?
Well, no, I'm saying, I said I was in the comment section of this stuff. I was like sitting there going, okay, so wait a minute. You're literally complaining that your husband is not dropping everything for you and treating you like your dad, while at the same time you refuse to get him stuff at the store that you're already going to for stuff for yourself because you say that's acting like his mother.
Exactly.
Wait, what? I was so confused, and the women that were trying to explain it to me were not explaining it to me well. Like,
because they don't know either.
They don't know either.
It's just their double standard. It sounds good, so they run with it.
But at the same time, I'm like, your dad is allowed to do that stuff for you because your dad has a certain amount of authority over you. So unless you're sitting there saying that you want to give your partner the corresponding authority, which I know you don't, what you're saying is you want, like, basically a sugar daddy. That's what you're really asking for.
Yep.
But you're not willing to do the corresponding thing. Like, you want him, that we're right back to, you want to be taken care of like you're a pretty princess, and you want to do jack all shit for him.
And this surprises you why?
It doesn't, but it doesn't surprise me at all.
And I've done about 2,000 videos about this. What are you talking about?
It doesn't really surprise me at all. What surprises me is the audacity that it's happening at the same time congruently. Like, we're having the same trend at the same time. I'm like, do y'all not understand that this trend is kind of like...
What if I were to throw a curveball at you?
Oh, God.
Oh, God. Here we go.
Okay. Okay. So let's talk about men that grew up in dysfunctional households that were the product of divorced parents.
So raised by single mothers.
Yes. So what if those men married their mother, but in the form of a different woman? We hear that happen all the time, right? Yep. I did it. Dan did it. Mm-hmm. I'm sure other people have done it. it throws a curveball and a wrench in everything. I mean, the chat's having a literal, like, I hope that's illegal, but but bear with me here. I think it's legitimate that we want to marry something that we're familiar with. And it wasn't until I realized, I just didn't appreciate the type of like spouses my parents were to each other. I love the fact that they're okay parents. One's better than the other, in my opinion. One's more attentive to grandkids and stuff like that. But when it comes down to it, both of them were shitty spouses. So if that's all you know,
I mean, you're not wrong, because your dad's example is your first a daughter's first example of a man. My father will flat out tell me he's a shitty husband, but he was a good dad. But
and that there's nothing wrong with that, just for the record.
And
I know that for a fact. My dad was a shitty husband, and he was an awesome dad.
As was mine.
So I think there might be a bit of truth to that. I can see, what I can see is from the women's side that a lot of them, either, because I've talked to a couple of them, a lot of the ones saying my dad would do it for me, they don't actually have a dad in their life. They think their dad would do it for them.
Well, that's
a problem.
That's a great point too, though, because you're spot on with that, right? Quote unquote daddy issues, right?
So they think that this is what a father does for their daughter, that he does all these things.
They've created this fiction in their mind of what, because they saw it on Hallmark or, social media or Disney or whatever. And they've created this myth in their mind, because women do that. I mean, I've got a whole channel dedicated to those things they make up in their minds. So that speaks to both your points, actually, right? Is they've created this fantasy, which in turn then leads them down the path to this other fantasy, which is, if I do anything for him, I'm being his mother. But if he does anything for me, it's what he's supposed to do, and it's the bare minimum, right?
Right.
It's a complete double standard, and you're trying to make sense of something that has no sense. There's zero logic here. So the answer I would give you, Lindsay, is stop trying to make sense of it, because there's nothing to make sense of. It's just pure insanity.
Well, true, but we're talking about this because it's becoming a pervasive theory on just in dating in general, is this idea that if you do any amount of care for the men in your lives, you're mothering them. Mm-hmm. And as someone who has children and is very happily married, I can tell you that there is a big difference between just being fucking considerate and mothering someone.
To them, there's not. Because they've now defined a woman treating a man with respect, with honor, as a human being, however you want to phrase it. They've now defined that as a bad thing, right? Yeah, how many times have they called you a pick-me, right? All that stuff. So this is just an evolution out of that. It's just like, this whole mantra that your career is supposed to be the be-all, end-all to define you as a woman, which is an offshoot of them defining men by that, which is now leading to the demonization of motherhood, right? There's no sense to it. There's no logic to it. It's just female evolution at work, where they take things and they just keep moving forward with them. And they're complete lunacy. And the problem is they never come out of it. And it just gets worse and worse and worse.
Well, I'm seeing an actual interesting phenomenon is we are both simultaneously demonizing motherhood and sanctifying it.
Yep, exactly.
Which is so weird to me, because there are women out there, and I've said this all the time, and it prays into this, the bare minimum of care for your spouse, is that they get married, they have kids, and they stop being wives. They make motherhood their entire personality, and they stop being wives. I have seen this time and time again.
I got to counter something you just said real quick. It's not motherhood is their lives, victimhood. Because motherhood and victimhood have now become the exact same thing.
Oh yeah, because you're suffering for your children. It's the
Bingo.
oh well, motherhood ruins your body, and and men don't like that. I was like, really? Because my husband has no problem with that. By the way, just FYI.
Tiger stripes are not a bad thing, or whatever you're calling them now. Back in the day, see how I did that? I got that in there. There we go.
Do you guys remember Judge Frank Caprio? No. Caught in Providence, the judge with the speeding tickets and the speed cameras and people come into his court and
I'm blind. Oh wait, he's the funny guy, right?
Yeah, he's
I know what you mean. All right, okay. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
31 minutes ago, they revealed that he passed away at the age of 88 from pancreatic cancer.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Awesome guy. I would have loved to have had him as a judge in court, right?
I would love to have appeared in front of him just for the
right,
even if I was guilty.
Right,
just
absolutely.
For the fun of it. But that's sad.
You want to talk about someone who showed a ton of compassion on the bench? There it is.
Well, I'll give you another one. It's Judge Judy because I've met her.
You've met her? Oh, I'm so jealous.
Oh no, it was 2004, 5. 21 years ago. So when we were trying to get the shared parenting bill, she came out in favor of it. And we were down in New York City for something and she was there. I'm not saying I sat down, had lunch with her. It was hi, I'm Judy Shineland. Oh, hi, Judge Judy. I know who you are, blah, blah, blah. That was about it, right? But I have met her. Very nice woman.
Mm-hmm.
Very pro-father. Very pro-father. And she was in family court. She was a family court judge.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there are some good judges out there, and she adamantly came out in favor of that bill. So there are some sane women. There's you, Lindsay. There's her. But the reality is, getting back to the topic, of what we're talking about is trying to make sense out of something you can't simply make sense out of. I think what's happening on the greater scheme of things is the social media phenomenon, which is we always have to find something more, right? I mean, you look at the stupidity back, 4 or 5 years ago with Tide Pods. And now, they look for more challenges. That it's always, we've got to one up. And I think to a certain extent, that's what you're seeing happen within the relationship algorithm on social media, specifically TikTok. Is that, if my husband brings me flowers and takes me to dinner, is it the right kind of flowers? Is it, did he get them at the
right kind of dinner because you're not allowed to go to,
because flowers at the grocery store don't count now. I don't know if you know that. Has to be from a florist. Oh yeah. If you get flowers from a grocery store, that does not count. And it's, again, you sit there and go, it speaks to why men are walking away, because if you can't even show this tiny little bit of appreciation, why the fuck do I want to be with you? Right? But this is what's happening because they're trying to up themselves in the female hierarchy. Right? It's all about that. Ultimately, that's really what it comes down to. So if I can make myself look like more of a victim, because what's the number one way to be the top females, to be the biggest victim? So you get clicks, likes, and all that other happy horse shit. That's what they'll do. And I think what you're seeing with all of this stuff is an offshoot of that.
Well, okay, but then, you connect that they want to be the biggest victim. You can go one step further and say, okay, what is a victim? Someone who fails to take accountability and ownership of their part in it.
Again, you're being logical, though, Curtis. It's not how they think.
But here's the funny part. I mean, when you let your emotions take control, the irrational thought just kind of like seeps in, and it literally chokeholds everything.
It's what defines women these days is irrationality, right? They're constantly trying to outdo the other.
Mhm.
And men, we have our competitive sides too, but nowhere near to this level.
There's competitiveness, and then there's comparison. Comparison is the thief of
That's
joy.
that's a better way to put it. Nice one. Nice one.
So I see, in addition to being the biggest victim, I also see women who have historically moved themselves up the ladder vicariously through the men in their lives, almost parasitic. And with the women who constantly try and one up each other when it comes to my husband did this or my boyfriend did that, and now we have all these ridiculously high expectations for men because some Instagram model had a boyfriend who filled her entire bedroom with balloons for her birthday,
Or said he
did, because I'm not entirely convinced that the boyfriends are actually doing all of this, that she isn't putting.
I'm telling you right now, they're not.
That she isn't putting this up, and then look what my boyfriend did, or look what my husband did, and it's look at me, it's what is it, holding up your wife, your woman, like, look, I'm worth this much effort. And I got into a lot of trouble the other day on a particular TikTok.
You?
Me.
No.
Women were talking about her preference isn't going on a coffee date, and I was like, your preference is money. She goes, no, I just don't, it screams low effort to me. And I asked her, what makes you think you're worth more effort than a coffee date?
What'd she say?
Right out of the gate. What makes you think you're worth it? Because that's when you're starting dating, the best way to prove. She's like, well, I just know. I said, no, you think you're worth that effort, but to a guy you may not be. So the best way to prove you're worth more effort is to start at level 1 and work your way up. Don't demand level 10 right out of the gate. Have you never played a video game? The answer is no. And then I got called, of course, a pick-me. But back to the flowers thing. I'm happy if my sons and my husband bring me weeds that flower from the yard. Like, a flower is a flower. Like, and then, of course, as y'all know, and y'all have seen before, my husband once made me flowers out of duct tape and tea.
Which should have more meaning than going to a florist.
Which mean more to me than the damn flowers that die. So
absolutely.
So Lindsay made an interesting comment about women will ride on the coattails of their husbands almost in a parasitic way. Now, what is interesting about that is it's funny because 10 hours ago, you just posted a video, Dan, that is higher standards or delusional expectations.
Oh, that one, yeah.
And I'm like going, geez Louise, these two are two peas in a pod with these two things going on. And you know me, I'm the optimist, not so much the pessimist, but I'm always cautiously optimistic. How can I really rail this one? In my head, what's going on is, why can't we just go, okay, why can't I be the eternal optimist here and say, you know what, this doesn't need to be parasitic. It can be symbiotic. But our ego and pride gets in the fucking way. Why?
Well, like, so the idea of there are a certain group of women. Now, see, in my case, my relationship with my husband is symbiotic. That's how it's supposed to be. But when I say it's parasitic, it's like Curtis, you probably have come into this a little bit, military wives.
Oh, they're the worst.
The ones who think their husband's rank is theirs. My husband's a colonel. My husband's a major. Do you know who my husband is at the gate? And the guy's like, I don't fucking care who your husband is. I need your ID. Like, there's some of the worst officers' wives. Not all officers' wives, but many of them are like, look, your husband is this. Your husband is this. You are not. You do not get to share his rank. Police wives can sometimes be the same thing, and that's what I'm talking about when I say that it's almost parasitic. It's like they measure themselves and they give themselves gravitas based on what their husbands have earned.
Well, that's almost like the equivalent of my kid. Okay, full disclosure, my 8-year-old, he's been known to name drop, and he goes, well, I don't have to do that because my dad's the mayor. And then this has always come back to bite him, right? Because I get a phone call from, say, the public works guy, or I get a phone call from the librarian. Oh, he did it again. Oh, really? Where's he at? And then bam, he's like, hi, Dad. Oh, hi, son of the mayor. And you can just see his face turn from red to white, going, oh no.
Oh shit.
Yeah. We've had 2 really big fallouts and like 3 smaller issues with this. He knows that all of a sudden, wait a minute, I've given all of the lifeguards at the pool permission to put his little butt in timeout. And I've given all of the librarians permission to put his little butt in timeout. He walked out on a couple timeouts, and guess what? He went back. And I'm going to say this. Corporal punishment is legal in Iowa so long as it doesn't leave a mark lasting for more than 24 hours. And corporal punishment was instituted twice in front of. And guess what? He served his timeouts with those lifeguards and librarians. I don't put up with that crap.
Well, getting back to
it's the same thing with what you're referring to, though, Lindsay. Wives. That is bullshit.
Well, but it's how women have always been, right? They universally get, in their minds, I'm not saying from men, from women, they get their status and their leveling in the female hierarchy going back throughout history from the man they're with.
Or their father or their brother.
I said man in generally, right? It could be any one of them. So that still exists today. That's why you have all these women out there going, well, I'm a great catch because I pay my bills and own a house and have a car and blah, 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 blah. But I still want a man that makes more money than me and is a provider because her status level's here. She's not going to go for a guy down here because other women are going to bring her down to his level.
Right.
Right. So she wants the guy that's up here. She wants the, 6'5", 6-pack ab, 7-figure income, as I talked about in that video you referenced. All
6
that.
inches.
Well, there are only about 10,000 of them in the entire country. Right. There's only about 10,000 quote unquote Travis Kelce's. And Travis is with Taylor. So sorry, sweetie, he's not coming to be with you, okay? But they think he is. So you have ballpark, unmarried single women looking for guys, probably 50, 60 million, give or take, trying to get 10,000 guys, half of whom at least are already with somebody. Not that they care. They'll think if they can steal them, they will.
Or what they've been finding is the other half of them are with somebody and the other half are playing the field.
Right. But they want those guys for one reason, status and money. That's the only reason they want them. And that's why every other guy is no good. And that's where your logic comes in, Lindsay, going back to what we first talked about, right? Is it all circles into that. And so it ultimately, as I've said repeatedly, it comes down to standing in the female hierarchy. Whether it's better victimhood, a better spouse with more money or status or whatever. Whereas guys are the exact opposite. We'll marry the waitress at the local diner if she gives us what she wants.
Well, guys are also more of a meritocracy.
True. But meritocracy based on the person, not who they are, not what they have in their pocket, aka wallet.
Right. Well, so you'll marry.
What do you say about men all the time?
Hmm?
They'll sacrifice what?
Flipped. They'll sacrifice their happiness for their family, but a woman will sacrifice her family for her happiness.
That's what we
Y'all both froze. And Mr. Squirrel's doing something.
It's not me that's frozen, just for the record. It's hypergamy is what it is, right? What we're really talking about is hypergamy.
Yes.
And it's social media has taken hypergamy to a whole, I'm not even trying to say it, to a whole new
hypergamy
level. To a whole new level. Because now it used to be, if you were in a small town, you might have a few thousand women you were in competition with, right? Now you're in competition with 4 billion other women. So to quote unquote win that competition, they'll go anywhere and everywhere they can and come up with these insane things. Like, well, grocery store flowers don't count. Or, well, he took me to, what was the one they were talking about for dinners? The Cheesecake Factory. Cheesecake Factory is slumming. It's got to be a 5-star restaurant now. Like 4 stars not even good. Now you got to be 6'5". I mean, 6 foot is no longer it's now 6'5".
Yeah, and what's funny is it's 6'4" on 98th percentile of the population. Well, in the United States, and 99th in the world.
Yeah,
like it doesn't come on.
It's
unreasonable expectations.
James News
country wants to see Mr. Squirrel.
Yeah, but he can't come on, right? James News'll put up something about height on Twitter. I think it was yesterday. Let me see if I can find it quick. And he was talking about the height differences, right?
Well, and I mean, we discussed, like, we've seen those reels where the guys go, okay, does height matter? And they go, well, yeah. And then he pulls off the sheet of the scale, then jump on the scale. We can't help our height.
Yeah, but
you can help your weight.
You can't use that comparison with women because they can't make the logical grasp to that. You have to go to height, I argue. So my argument is, the average height of a male is 5'9" in the U.S. and it's 5'3" or 4", depending on who you talk to, for females, right? Mm-hmm. So if you're going to go and add 3, now 7 inches to those heights? Well, if a woman is not at least 5'8", but preferably at least 5'10" or 11, she's not worthy.
Okay, so
that's speaking to them in their language.
Right.
That's what we need to be doing, is saying to women, you're only 5'4". You're garbage. Get out.
So
swipe left, swipe left, swipe left. That's what we
an
need to do.
Interesting concept, right? Because it's kind of like, okay, so take me, for example, I'm 76 inches. And if you're talking about a woman who's like, if the average height for men is 5'9", that's 69 inches. So 76 from 69,
right.
That's a 7-inch difference, like you pointed out.
Mm-hmm.
But if we're to talk 7 inches from, let's say it's 63 inches. Okay, guess what? 63 plus 7. You got to be 5'10".
Yeah. And that can resonate more because, as we all know, height, you can't change, right? And I love the women who argue, yes, you can. You can go get surgery. Okay, I know a little bit about that surgery. So I actually know someone who did it. He got 3 inches taller. They take cadaver bones. They literally cut your legs off, attach cadaver bones, and reattach them. And the amount of pain that man went through to get from 5'7" to 5'10" was unbelievable. But anyway, I don't like the weight comparison because that's controllable. It's not apples to apples. The apples to apples is height. So we should be, as men, if women are going to say 6'5" is now the new norm.
So 6'5" is 77 inches.
So
77
5'10",
from
5'10" minimum.
Yeah.
You're not 5'10", you're garbage.
Yeah. 5'10".
And watch them go.
I'm garbage. I'm a raccoon.
But
you know what?
But relatively speaking, though, Lindsay, you are tall for a woman, right? You're what, about 5'8", 5'9"?
5'8".
Yeah, so you're way above the norm. You're way above the norm.
But
you're not good enough.
This is interesting because my mom wouldn't be garbage then because she's 5'11". Boy,
well, I mean, if you
thoughts
look at,
I have.
Well, see, that's the. Well, so to be perfectly honest, height does matter to me because I wanted a man who made me feel safe. My husband makes me feel safe.
That's a biological preference.
That's typically what it.
But I also know you well enough to know that you don't think a guy who's 5'7" is garbage. You may not want to date him or marry him.
Well, yeah, no.
But you're not going to call him garbage.
So this is true. So this is the difference. I'll tell women, is like, look, you can have preference for what you're looking for in a partner, but just because that man doesn't meet your preference doesn't make him, a fuck twat or whatever.
Exactly.
It's like he's still
That's
a good
the point.
person.
Right.
He's not, he's
So,
not deficient or damaged because he's
okay.
shorter.
So there's a lot of things going on here. Like, why are we hanging our hats on? And the point of the video that you did earlier, that you dropped 10 hours ago, Dan, was to point out the double standard, the double speak. Who would want to connect with someone who she had all of these standards but couldn't meet them herself?
Exactly.
So the reality is guess what? Why am I going to want to take on someone's extra baggage? Right? That's if you're already resonating and seething and foaming at the mouth of something that is very grotesque already. Like, you're like, even if I fit your criteria, why in the hell would I want anything to do with you?
And that's what guys are saying now. This is what the problem is for women, right? Is because you talk to guys, I talk to guys, all right? The comments, all of it, universally. Obviously, there's exceptions. Men are saying that we're not going to play this game anymore, and they're walking away. Well, yeah, I've actually heard that one before. Country stole that. But yeah, I'll use myself as an example. I'm 6'1", or I was. I've shrunk. My general rule of thumb was you need to be at least 5'8", right? My second wife was 5'11.5". I'm now married to my third wife, who's 4'10" in heels, right? I learned my lesson. Height is irrelevant. It's a preference, but it doesn't define the person, right? So, the issue is for women, this is my opinion, is they are pricing themselves out. Because if you're going to say 6 foot is your minimum, that is in the 85% tile. So that means you have basically 15% of men to choose from. You get up to 6'5", now you're talking 98%.
Yeah, more.
But I'm
somewhere in there. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not much of the population.
A blank. I'm still drawing a blank on what the fuck height has to do with your personality, because I've met a lot of tall assholes.
Because status, Lindsay. So height in the female mindset, the taller a guy is, the better he is. Because he's bigger, he can protect me more. Right? That's really what it is. They'll never.
Well, yeah,
no woman is ever going to admit. You even kind of said it, right? I wanted someone that can protect me. Well, can a 5'4" guy protect you as well as a 6'1"? Maybe.
Depends on whether or not he's
maybe,
armed.
But generally speaking, no. Might makes right, right?
Yeah, but I've gone up against guys.
But you're talking about exceptions.
Same weight, they're 5'10" or 5'11", and I lose my ass because I'm so tall and lanky.
Curtis, you're talking exceptions. You got to focus on generalities with this, with women, right? They see a guy who's 6'1" or 6'4" and 280, and I see it walking down the street, and I know you do too, Curtis. I've walked down the street on Broadway in New York City, and they part in front of me like a fucking wave, right? New York City, where they don't move for anybody. They'll move out of my way. In fact, my ex-wife used to laugh her ass off about, stop being so intimidating, Dan. What am I doing? I'm walking down the street. You're scaring people. How? I'm not talking to them. I'm not looking at them. I'm just walking. The cop walk, she called it, right? It's because of my size. I am intimidating simply because of my size. I could be the worst asshole in the world, and if you ask most of the women that watch my videos, they'll tell you I am, right? Or I could be the teddy bear, which my friend called me the other day. I was really insulted by that when she said that. They don't care. All they see is 6'1", 280. Same with you, Curtis, right? They never get past that. And when they're on the dating apps, they're doing the same thing. Well, If he's 5'11" and 7/8 of an inch, he can't protect me. But if he's an 1/8 inch taller, well, he's all right. Explain that one to me, Lucy.
Well, so we were talking about ridiculous expectations. So I was in a comment section on a video of a friend of mine who was talking about what men are looking for. And this woman insisted that men want, the supermodel and all these, the ridiculous expectations for women. And I was like, I've never had a man say that this is what they want. Men want respect, peace, and appreciation. That's it. That's pretty much it. And you know who does have all these expectations for women? Other women. And we went round and round and round and round and round. I was like, well, how many men have you actually talked to? She's like, I don't know how many, but so all my friends, all your female friends say this. Like, and then she had the audacity to say, well, we got onto the topic of, what her preference in men is. And I was like, okay, so you want all these things, but like, here's the deal. If Christian Grey had been ugly and poor, it would have been an episode of Criminal Minds, not the best-selling romance book. Like, yep. And I've been saying that for years, ever since I first read it. But what makes you think, because they're like talking about, all these creepy men, and like, what makes you think that rich and attractive equals good? Like, have you never watched like all these football players and basketball stars that are all, in trouble for beating their wives? They're all attractive and rich, but they're obviously not very good husbands. So if that's what you're basing your criteria on wrong, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you're fucking stupid. She didn't like that.
Well, okay, so let's go to like A Beautiful Mind, right? And did you see how he worked out the logic? He's sitting there working out the logic. Okay, if we all compete to go after this one woman, nobody will go home with anyone because all of the other women will get offended. However, if we ignore the one woman and go after all of the women and we split it up, guess what happens? The logic isn't that different.
Let me go back in the day. Everybody drink. Here we go. Right. So I've shared this before. I was a Chad in the 80s, 40 odd years ago. I did my best hunting by not searching for the best looking girl in the bar. I'd find, if there was a 10 or a 9, I'd ignore her, which would piss them off, by the way. And sometimes they would then try and get you. But you look for the 5, 6, and 7s, and you're going to score. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. Because, again, hypergamy's kicking in. So it's what I say to guys now is if you're dating, if you want to find a good woman, make yourself appear lesser than you are. Like if I were on a dating app now, I would not list myself as 6 foot, even though I am. I would list myself as 5'11", because that's going to weed out the ones that are judging you solely by your height. And I would go from there. I would list my income 50,000. Because I'm working on a video because a guy asked me what I would do. These are the things I would do. Even though I got a lot more money than that, no, I make 50,000 a year, and I would bring everything down. Any woman that still wants to go out with you after you've done all that, probably not. I mean, there's no certainties, right? It's probably going to be one that isn't shallow.
But what you're saying is the statistical likelihood is that you'll attract a woman who's genuinely interested,
who's genuinely looking for a partner, as opposed to a status symbol.
Or like a sponsorship.
Or a sponsor. That's a great way to put it too, right? Women,
I keep saying that women today are looking for sponsorships, not relationships.
Yeah, they always bitch about men wanting, eye candy on their arm. It's them who wants the eye candy. So take away the eye candy. Here's who I am. If you're still willing to swipe right on me after all that, maybe, at least now I've got a better sense of maybe we can move forward with something.
Now, I will admit that when I was talking to this one girl about, the ridiculously high standards men have for women, the top % of men, like the top 2%, 5% or whatever, they do have those ridiculous standards, but then they can afford to have those ridiculous standards because they're them. But the average guy, which is most of the male population, because that's what the word average means, they don't have these ridiculous expectations, and in fact they would prefer you to not be wearing a crap ton of makeup and clothes that look ridiculous and horrible and not comfortable. And they're like, well, like you say you're married, but like your husband doesn't care what I wear. I said no, because no matter what I wear, my husband's always going to tell me that my clothes look better on the floor. Just when you think that the top percent of men that are like the tiny percentage of men have these expectations, and you've taken that tiny percentage of men and decided that because those are their expectations, that's what all men want. It's just the same thing that women do when they think, well, this tiny percentage of men, 0.02% of the male population, by the way, is specifically dangerous towards women, but they have decided that nope, that means all men are dangerous, and that's why I choose the bear. It just math. We need to,
well, I mean,
like statistics, likelihood, probability. Like, let's bring that back, because this girl math sucks.
Here's the counter to the argument when women throw out that men are very picky or specific on, they want the beauty queen, right? Well, I just looked it up while you were saying. Men swipe right on average 46% of the time. Women swipe right 14%. Who's the picky ones? Now, again, I'm pulling that from Google, so I don't know how accurate it is or where it's getting it. Well, actually, I can look that up.
But you're
Swipe
right.
Stats. It came from Swipe Stats. So think about that. So how are you going to argue to me as a woman, not you, Lindsay, but as a woman, that men are pickier than women when every dating app will tell you men swipe right far more than women do?
Well, I mean, it's what you were talking about with your video about ridiculously high expectations. So I have always maintained that I will never have a expectation for Mr. Squirrely that I myself cannot maintain or reach correspondingly. And so when women always bring up the, well, what do you bring to the table? And they're like, I am the table. I said, no, you might be like 1 inch off of a leg of the table, but a table can carry a lot of weight, and you look like you would fold like wet tissue paper if someone sneezed at you. So like, and the women, and I blame I'm not looking at it on purpose. I blame the sisterhood, because we've made empowering women, right? We've deluded ourselves into thinking, oh yeah, you're a queen, you're a top 10, you're a this. No, you're not. You're average at best. And that's okay. I'm average. Most people are average, because that's what average means. And I would rather fall in that mid-range of dependable, like do you remember the whole croissant lady? Why would men will go for Wonder Bread woman when they could have a croissant? I said, well, because a croissant is pretty and mostly full of air and not very filling, and you're hungry 30 minutes later. But Wonder Bread can be garlic bread, it can be French toast, it can be all these different things. And I would rather fall in the middle there, in that dependable range, than be on either end of the extreme. And they're like, well, what about, ugly women? And I said, well, there are some truly not so pretty women out there. But I would argue, honestly, that the really, drop dead gorgeous women, in my experience, they are the ugliest women I have ever met as soon as they open their mouth. They are shallower than a rain puddle. Can't hold anything, like they can't hold any substance. A sieve would hold more than these women would in substance.
Tell us how you really feel, Lindsay.
And they're the ones who make other women feel horrible about themselves.
And oh, by the way, they suck in bed. I've been with 9s and 10s.
I just kind of lay there.
A hot, wet pocket that's just out of the microwave has more warmth than they do.
I'd be afraid of getting burnt.
I mean, I'm telling you, been there, done that. I would take a 5, 6, or 7 over a 9 or 10 every single time, just on that one criteria. For a relationship, though, most 9s, 10s are like the 9, 10 guys. They can have anybody they want. So their vapid brains they have nothing behind them. Most of the 9 and 10
You're
guys,
using big words.
yeah, are as worthless as the 9 and 10 women. That's why I say let them have each other. Go for it. Go.
Well, so there's a video on a guy who was talking about, do I want a 10? I take her, but I'd also take this and said, I would take a 5 any day because they fuck you back. And I was like, he's not wrong.
He's
He's
100%
not wrong.
right. He's 100% right.
Um,
I mean, not to be gross about it, but yeah, that's exactly true, right?
Because you have to put in effort past what your appearance is. Like if you're dating a one of the top, attractive women, that's pretty much why you're dating her. Now, that's not to say that there aren't some gorgeous women out there with brains, but they're, at the same time, women have been sitting here for years and years saying we want to be judged by more than our looks. And yet there's a large group of women who also want to get by on just their looks.
Or judge other women by their looks.
Or judge the other women by their looks.
Women, they say we don't want to get by just on our looks, or we don't want to be judged based on it. Yet that's all women do is judge each other. Forget men. Judge each other by their looks.
Steve makes an excellent point. Just look at the T app.
Oh, that was hilarious. I mean, you sit there.
The tens of thousands of pictures.
They all kind of look the same, didn't they?
There's a stereotype for a reason.
That's for sure.
Yeah, but that's also what's out there on the Facebook groups too, right? And once in a while, you'll see a better looking one, but for the most part, they're 2s, 3s, and 4s. And what's interesting, kind of along these lines, is the other day I was at the beach, and I saw a couple. Neither one of them was all that attractive. I'm trying to be polite here. Probably a 2 at best for both. But they had found each other, and that you could tell they were very much in love. They were almost as sickening as Lindsay and her husband, okay? With the hand holding and all that other crap, okay? And you know what? Good for them.
Gross.
Good for them, because clearly she dated within her realm, right? Because a lot of these 2s would think they deserve a 10. That's what they're it's not me saying it. They're literally saying it in their videos. Right.
Well, a lot of the 2s also think they're like 12s, and so the women, of course, we know that women always judge other women. I have never had a male comment on my appearance other than to give me a compliment or a sincere. If I asked them, if I prompted them, how do I look? I've never had someone tell me I need to wear more makeup. I've never had a male boss tell me that I need to wear better clothes. It's only ever been females, and so I'll attack their logic and they attack my looks. I'm like, look, baby girl, I am not intimidated by a woman whose face could be factory reset with a baby wipe. Try again. And without fail, it's like, okay, you can't attack my logic, so you attack my looks. What happened to sisterhood? What happened to that? Goes completely out the window. So if we want to be judged by what's in our brains. We need to stop judging each other by what our face looks like, and or like, well, they do it to Dan all the time. You're bald, okay,
and so will you be, honey, when you're 60. You'll be those hair extensions and the wig.
Okay, so I look at all these things, and I think about all of those quips my grandfather had. Right, my grandfather. Okay, so I'm 6'4", big surprise, right? My grandfather was 5'7".
My father was 5'5". I'm 6'1".
And here's the other interesting part. He had all of these quips, right? So he'd say, don't marry a girl because of her looks or any of that stuff, because guess what? By the time you get to old age, everything's sagging, everything's bald, everything's nasty.
Those 36 double Ds at 22 are tied behind their knees at 62. All right.
Right. And you got to be careful because you might mistake them for nuts.
Exactly. Yeah. I have this video that's coming out a week from Friday. I so want to release it now because it's the same scenario. It's this chick, because I'm looking at it right now as I'm on my YouTube. I'm looking at it. I'm like, I've got it scheduled for Friday, the 29th. She is hands down the worst I've ever seen. Like on this whole she is and she's a 4 at best. At best. Maybe I'll move it up. I don't know.
Suddenly, I'm feeling intrigued here.
Oh, it's
Well, I got in trouble for a comment the other day because there's this girl who's making fun of everybody, and she's older and very bitter, and she was talking about her boob job, and I go, why on earth would you do that? It's like putting a haunted, it's like putting crystal chandelier in a haunted house. Like, that's not going to make you more attractive to guys. She didn't like the crystal chandelier in a haunted house comment, but if you think that's going to make you more attractive to guys, they might, ooh, look at you. And then you open your mouth and suddenly your attractiveness drops 8 points because you're a vindictive shrew.
Lindsay, they're not doing it for other guys. They're doing it for
yeah,
other women.
I know why they're doing it.
Come on.
Well,
have you ever touched fake boobs?
Yes.
I mean, ew. All right. And people have said to me, well, what does it feel like? You ever see the gel seats on a bicycle? Go up and feel one of them. That's exactly what it feels like. Ew, it's gross.
Well, I called her out on it the first time, and then she says, well, no, I'm doing this because I'm trying to, and I was like, no, that's not going to work. First of all, you see guys all the time sitting and saying they want the natural look, and they mean no makeup. They don't mean the no makeup look. They mean no makeup. And
because that's what we're getting in bed at night.
Right. So, like, again, we're back to the only ones who are telling women that men have these ridiculous standards for women, or women are saying that these are men's standards, are other women.
And is that because they're trying to escape the reality that it's actually them that's that way, and it's better to blame the men than take accountability?
It is better to blame the men than to admit that
Houston.
We've used that one before in other places. I like Maggie's better because I know Maggie. I know a woman just like you, right? She took her tax return. By the way, single mother with kids and always bitching about how she had no money, and got herself a new set, and they looked ridiculous. I mean, they looked ridiculous. She's still single. It didn't work.
Well, that's the thing, that the way it has to come back to more substance, why you have to be Wonder Bread instead of a croissant, because a lot of the croissants have, like I said, no substance. And then they open their mouths and suddenly they're not an 8 or a 9 anymore. They're a -4 because they're dumber than, a bag of rocks. But then you have the waitress who's, pretty average, but she's kind, she's humble, she's appreciative. She doesn't bring you strife. She has she's someone you can work with, a partner. And suddenly she's the most beautiful woman in the world to that man.
And I've had this conversation with my wife even, right? Because, I mean, she's 62 now. She does not look the same as she did at 22, right? She's like, well, things have changed. Yeah, they've changed since I met you. We met when I was 47, 15 years ago, right? I don't see anything. She's the same to me now as she was then. I don't see it. I mean, I do see that things have changed, but I don't care. I love her, not what she looks like.
Well, yeah, Mr. Squirrel is convinced that I look the same as when we met. So he'll be like, we'll be walking down the street, and he'll be like, or we're walking at shopping store or something. He's like, you should wear that, and I'm like, I am flattered that
I do the same thing.
I am flattered you think I can still wear that after 2 kids and however long have we been married? 17 years.
Yeah, but that's how men think. Women cannot understand that because they don't think that way. Generally, again, we're generalizing everything. I mean, the guys that are watching are get it, but I know there'll be people that'll watch this and go, but, I could throw out Kathy Ireland. There's a smart, beautiful, successful woman. That's a true 10. And she's my age. She's as gorgeous now as she was at 22. Smart as all get out. Brilliant woman. She is 10 out of 10.
And she was on how many millions of calendars in everyone's garage.
But she's one woman. out of 4 billion. So am I going to keep trying to get with Kathy Ireland? Because her poster was on my wall back in the day, right? I had her in my workshop. Do I think that I would ever have a chance with her? To the best of my knowledge, she's married, but no, I'm not. That's ludicrous. I wouldn't even think about it. And it's not a negative on me. It's just reality, right? Women, on the other hand, generally speaking, I can get Brad Pitt, or I can get who Superman was, or you name your guy, right? No, you're not. You're never going to get him. And if you do, he's going to hit you and quit you, dump you and toss you aside, and then you're going to get mad about it.
I'm gonna throw a curveball.
We haven't done the like thing. You better do it quick.
Oh, show it. Please show us some love.
Producer
like
boy.
Button, hit the heart button.
Producer boy, you're supposed to be on top of it.
I am not on top of it today. So, maybe this will help. Okay, so we're talking about what we look like and what at different ages, right? There I am at 20 years old.
Oh, wow.
You see that clean shaven?
What a
now okay, so here's the funny part. I'm 6'4" in that picture, and I am a whole 185 pounds.
Wait a minute. Now I got to find one of me. But see, the problem for me is all of the pictures of me from 1980 till 1995, my ex-wife burned them all. So I have no pictures of me in that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. She took our photo albums and burned them all. I literally have no pictures of me in that time frame. But give me a second. I might be able to find. I'm trying to see if I can find my headshot, because you guys will die laughing. Keep talking while I do that.
So, no, cancel. Do not do that.
Where's my headshot from?
How do I now? I thought I knew. Oh, here it is. Here we go. So that was funny to me, because I was like looking at it going, oh, yeah, I have changed quite a bit. I mean, now I got gray hair. Now I'm 263 this morning. So like I got up to 315 pounds. Yeah, 315.
Yeah, when I was competitive powerlifting, I was around 320. When I was playing football, I was around 330. So
to me, I'm looking at all of these things, and I'm considering a little baby with a little baby gun. Oh, well.
I'm trying to find my headshot. I can't find it. Keep talking. I'm listening.
But, that was me at 20 in Iraq. And I mean, I'll tell you what, that was 2003. I turned 21 in Iraq.
Yeah, so, we all change. Like I said, once I find mine, I'll share it.
Yeah.
You guys will die laughing, but it's,
Here, I'm sending you.
I think men get it.
Curtis, to put up on the thing.
Oh, we can't do it ourselves?
Well, I don't know if I can or not. Hold on.
It's got to give us, because I think it's fun to do this stuff, But I think it goes back to men are realistic about aging, right?
Absolutely. I mean,
and women are not.
We embrace our gray hair. We embrace our baldness. We embrace our weight gain.
So we are.
Right. And I think a lot of times you'll find that men embrace a lot of their stupidity, the stupid acts of shit you should have never done, but you did it anyway because and you lived to tell the tale, so to speak, right? So to me, that's interesting.
How would you share?
Oh, there it is.
Is there a plus button at the bottom?
There's a plus button.
Hit it.
And what, presentation?
No, image.
I don't have that option.
Send it over then. I'll make it.
Can I send it to your phone?
No.
Okay, hold on.
But, going back, because we got dead air going on here, but going back to aging and all that. You know, I see the younger women all the time. They'll come at me because I have no hair, or I have wrinkles, or I have, you know, spots on my head and all this other shit. And I genuinely wonder, do they not get that that's going to happen to them? That they're not going to, I mean, I'm seriously, I genuinely ask Maggie, you're on. I'm asking you as well, you know.
Oh.
I'll show it now. I want to see it.
Oh, you're going to get it. Here goes.
We're all waiting with bated breath.
Look at that.
Oh, I've seen that one before. You showed me that before.
It's me, age 19.
Yeah, you were adorable.
You just want to pinch your cheeks.
How do I share mine, Curtis, again?
The plus sign at the bottom and then image.
I have presentations, screen share, extra camera, local video.
I don't know. I have image.
Trust me, I've changed. I'm no longer that skirt. I still have that skirt, actually. So the bottom of the skirt that I'm wearing was my something old. It was the bottom half of my aunt's prom dress from the 1970s.
Something old, something new, something blue.
Something blue and a penny in my shoe.
And something borrowed, right?
Something borrowed, something blue, something old, something new. And a penny in my shoe.
Right.
Well, now I want to share mine and it won't let me.
Send it over. I'll share it.
All right, because I'll send it an email.
All right.
Thank you, country, but I do not look the same still.
No, you're cuter now. There, I said it. Okay. But I'm biased. I'm your dad. So to be truthful, I actually think women in their 30s and 40s are very pretty, generally speaking, even though they've hit the wall, right?
And I feel like that part of that is that maternal aspect. Right?
I totally agree with you on that. Yeah.
Because
like I mentioned earlier, tiger stripes, most guys find them attractive.
Well, then the thing about women, and also that is we're the worst critics on ourselves too.
Oh, absolutely, you are.
Because we'll look in the mirror and say there's nothing worth looking at. We look disgusting when the men in our lives are like,
It's on the way, Curtis.
Okay.
You guys will laugh. This is my headshot when he shows it from 1980.
1980, 2 years before I was born.
Which also, by the way, ended up being my senior picture, I believe, because it's a professional headshot. So this is back when I was modeling and doing that kind of crap. So
Okay.
Once he puts it up, but yeah, I mean, men don't care about superficial shit. I talk about it all the time in my videos. Men want to know: are you going to be respectful? Are you going to honor me? Are you going to? Oh, I was 81. All right. There you go.
Definitely a redhead.
Wow.
Holy buckets. Look at those freckles. That
was my headshot that would go out for modeling. I have them going back till I was like 4 or 5 years old. Check out the glasses even. But yeah. So JCPenney hired me off of that picture. But yeah, it's going back to what I was talking about. It's men are looking, and you even mentioned it, Lindsay. Men are looking for: are you going to honor me? Are you going to respect me? Are you going to be my partner? Right? In the, I don't know, was it the video I did today or the one that's going out next week? I said, men are looking for someone who's not a burden. The minute a woman becomes a burden, they're going to check out from her, right? That's what they're talking about. Because somebody asked me, well, what does peace mean? Well, it means something different for every guy. But generally speaking, I would say you're not a burden. It's okay for you to come to me and say, I had a bad day at work, blah, 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 blah. I don't have a problem with that. No guy would. But when you unload every fucking night for 3 hours, and then when I try and tell you about my day, you get pissed about it, twist it around and make it about your day again, that's being a burden. That's the difference.
Wait, pause. Yeehaw! Because Jay did a happy face with the hat.
Dan, how did you escape from Happy Days? No. You got to compare me to Howdy Doody, Steve. You're old enough to know who that is. Lindsay's going, who the fuck is Howdy Doody? Lindsay, I got underwear older than you, okay? And I really do, actually. I have a pair of boxers, Christmas boxers that I've had since the 80s, early 80s. Anyway, what? I have no boundaries. I will share anything. I don't care. Maggie. I just lost my train of thought. Somebody say something.
I don't know.
Really?
So-
We got to fill 25 minutes of airtime. What the hell?
I found a little nut
I found two.
to go with my big nut and my pumpkin hedge pig.
Man, 12 gauge would do a number on
Green
that.
Acres, holy buckets. That was a show, wasn't it?
Yeah, back in the day. You see what I did there? I only got 3 of them in. Oh, now we're going to compare old TV shows. Here we go again. See, I like that.
Country.
Favorite old TV show? Brady Bunch, of course, because Marsha, baby. My first love, my only true love in my life. Not that I would ever get to meet her.
No more ducks. No more ducks.
Lindsay doesn't give a duck anymore.
I don't give any more ducks.
Although now,
That's quackers.
so remember how I bought my Jeep a month ago? I got 5 ducks already.
I would mail you ducks, except I'm not entirely sure they wouldn't melt.
Why? I love getting ducked. It's really good when complete strangers come up and duck me, you know. They want to get in my Jeep and duck me. It's really good. We're not on TikTok anymore. So
No, we're not. So we can be the problem. You can share in my being the problem.
Yeah. No, I was going to say something.
We were talking about women being shallow and caring about looks, and men don't really care about that.
So, all right, let's shift the conversation to how do we wake women the fuck up?
Well, it takes women calling out other women for it, and of course we get demonized for it. But we are slowly turning the tide, because I do see more and more videos popping up, not just on TikTok but on Reels and whatnot, of women saying, "Hey guys, what's going on?"
I think that the tide is turning.
Wait a minute. Maggie's daughter just gave her a tiny green sparkly dick the other day.
Do you mean to say duck or dick?
She did duck. She just said autocorrect. Go ahead. Go on with what you're saying. I just had to tease Maggie.
I think the tide is turning, though. I really do, because here's what's interesting is there's this shift, and is it coming from the sort of stuff that I listen to? Probably, which is a lot of like military vets that have been to combat, come back, and they talk about 2 really big things: ownership and accountability. So you don't like the way you feel? Own it. Eat healthier. Work out.
That's not what women can do now.
No, but it's a catalyst for men to say to women, "Hey, you're complaining. You don't like it? Tough shit. Change it.
Yeah, fix it yourself.
Stop making excuses."
I've been talking with a couple people about exactly that, because I'm starting to put it in more and more of my videos, right? Is men just need to keep walking.
Mm-hmm.
Going to change it, because men towards other women, to what Lindsay's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Stop driving the men away, because you're driving away from all of us. What women don't realize is once men go, they don't tend to come back very quickly, if at all, right? And this trend has been going on basically for 50 years. It's going to take another 50 to reverse.
What happened?
I don't know. We lost him. Oops.
You did that. I did not do that.
Well, now I'm all the way over here. This is not normal.
You didn't like what I was saying, so you cut me off. Fine. I see how this is going to be. What are you doing? Oh, God.
I don't know what the
The
hell
wheels on
happened
the
there.
bus go
I'm just
round
sitting here
and
going,
round.
wait
All
a
of a
minute, where'd
sudden-
he go?
All of a sudden, I was sitting backstage. I'm like, what the hell did I do?
Musical chairs. Woo!
No, I forgot what I was talking about. Go on. Hey, yes. Everybody drink again. When Lindsay snorts, we got to. Oh, 2 drinks now. Yeah, I know what I was talking about. So I think because somebody said to me, well, not multiple somebody said to me, you need to be nicer, Dan. You're always so negative on women, and you can't keep pointing out what they're saying. No, that's exactly what we need to be doing. We've played nice for 50 years. We were the good, chivalrous gentlemen who tried to play nice and give women what they want and be respectful and all that. Where did it get us?
Okay,
So now, unleash the hounds, baby, and it's working.
How is it any different than, okay, so you have all of these women who say these are what their needs are. And I go, okay, what's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Exactly.
So, okay, I'm going to tell you, there's a few people in my life that hate it when I say that. But guess what? I don't care. Here's the thing that I look at. If you're going to say that these are what your needs are, then guess what I get to say? I get to say the same thing. I get to say what my needs are.
Mm-hmm.
And if we start talking about needs versus wants, and let's distill it down. What are real needs versus what are real wants? And then you start to boil out the wants, and all you're left with are the real needs. What you realize is you have these folks, they're really focused on wants, and they're not focused on their needs. And they don't realize that it actually turns stuff really toxic, because now your kids are now enabled and tied to their phones, and they do all of these things, and they demonstrate all of these bad behaviors. And guess what? And then all of a sudden, out the door goes the ownership, the accountability, and all of these things. And you wonder why we got a faulty society.
So I had an interesting, I watched a video and I was thinking to myself about this. She said something that made me think of this. We have we have 2 generations now, if not more, of women who have been, a lot of whom have been raised without fathers.
Mm-hmm.
So not only do we have the women that have been raised without fathers, we have the boys that have been raised without fathers too, by single mothers. A mother will not discipline her children all the time the way she needs to, sternly, because she is afraid of not being liked. So her sons have internalized that. So rather than so these sons are now dating women. So these women will push on boundaries, and the men are, because they're afraid of not being liked, because they were raised by mothers who do that, will now not be stern with the women, like Dan was saying, because they were raised by mothers, and that's what women do. So what they need to do instead is be stern and say, no, you are ridiculous. Your standards are too high. That's a want, not a need. Because mothers can't teach men how to be men, or they're very bad at it. In general. So do we think that maybe that's something to do with it? Because we have a lot of men out there that are otherwise decent guys. When it comes to criticizing their partner, they're afraid of being too harsh, but they might need to be.
I agree with that notion, but so in law, we call it a concurrence, right? I'm going to concur, but for you, I agree with you, but for different reasons. And here's the different reasons. Here's the difference. The difference is I believe that by being nice and letting women walk over you, or letting that particular partner walk over you, it's you giving them permission to disrespect you.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I think the difference is. It's not, I want her to like me. Yeah, sure. But I should not give her permission to disrespect me, because then what it does is it places her up on a pedestal, and now she's better than me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not how this is supposed to roll. Listen, I'm supposed to be equal with you. That's how this is supposed to roll. You compliment me and I compliment you.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying that because they aren't women have no problem telling men this is what I want, this is what I respect very sternly. But men are not doing the same thing to women. They're talking
Correct.
because
And
they're
they need
afraid
to.
because they're
And they
afraid
need to.
they're afraid of she won't like me or she'll be upset, but they need that sternness, and because they're afraid of, oh well, she won't like me or she'll be upset, I'll upset her. They're allowing her to show them disrespect and walk all over them. And of course, if you let her disrespect you, she won't ever respect you. And then we
Correct.
get the women who hate their husbands. And I'm like, okay, first of all, if you hate him that much, leave.
Well, I mean, part of the problem is, and you see it happen to me all the time, right? Is I have my boundaries online, we'll say, right?
Mm-hmm.
I hold nothing back. I'm honest with women, and they hate me for it. Right?
Well, yeah, they hate me for it too.
And they attack me. Well, yeah, I get that, but I'm saying in general, this is how a man's feeling, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I don't give a shit. I could care less. You don't like what I'm saying? Too fucking bad. I don't care because I'm being honest with you as opposed to your girlies who are lying to your face and then eviscerating you behind your back, right? Because that's what women do. If you have a problem with what I'm saying and you think I'm being disrespectful to you, that's your right. I don't give a shit. I couldn't care less because at least I'm being honest with myself and with you.
So
and men are afraid to do that because the backlash, they see what happens to guys like me, right? They see what happens. Like Ryan, the unmarried father, got demonetized. He doesn't say anything bad about women. He's honest, though, with what they do. He gets demonetized. And that's just, we're talking on a social media level, but that's what happens in real life also. It's designed to silence us.
100% agree. Here's the funny part. I have this knack for pop culture references, right? So everyone knows Morgan Wallen. He knows he's a country singer. He sings about all kinds of different stuff, but he's got this particular song that's titled I'm the Problem. And in there, he talks about, he says, I guess I'm the problem, and your miss never do no wrong. If I'm so awful, then why'd you stick around this long? And if it's the whiskey, then why'd you keep pulling it off the shelf? You hate that when you look at me, you halfway see yourself. And it got me thinking that if I'm the problem, you might be the reason.
Germane to our conversation that we've been having, this is hilarious. I happen to have Twitter open, and I just refreshed it. And the thing that popped up is a woman posting pictures of Sydney Sweeney without her makeup on in a bikini. And they are trashing her. Told you she's a mid, she's ugly, blah, blah. I mean, I'm trying to be polite with it. And I'm looking at her going, you know what? Without makeup, it's not bad. Not bad.
Well, see, that's just okay.
But the women, oh my God, I'm reading some of these comments.
Well, it's fucking envy is what it is.
Oh my God. I'm like, there are hotter women walking the streets of New York City every day. Yeah, okay. I've been in New York City. I've walked the streets. No, there ain't. Okay. And I'm talking Sydney without the makeup. No.
Okay.
Sorry, honey. I mean, oh my God. I can't even repeat some of these.
The people that are tearing her down the most are not men. They're
women. It's women doing it.
And they're talking about men don't need to comment on our bodies. I'm like, but men by and large do not comment on women's bodies. Do you know who does? Other women. The same people that comment on our appearance. Other women. The same people that tell me I need to lose weight.
Other and now women. This sets up a quandary, right?
Oh, you men have boob blindness. I mean,
okay. So this is setting up the quandary, right? Because we're talking about so now we're talking about like now we're setting up, other women are setting up feelings of inadequacy within other women. Because it's like when other women look at that and they go, oh my God, why would I want? And then they go and they go to their man and they go, am I like that? And they're like, and now you put us in the position of going, well, no, like, but, and then they believe their friends and they believe all of these trolls. And it's like, what in the hell is going on here?
So
she's an LA 4, a New York 6, and a small town 8. Oh, honey, if you think that's the case, and one of the replies is, if you think she's a med, you're gay. That's what a guy said back, right? I mean, does she look as good as with her makeup? No. All right, but so what? She's actually very attractive.
So I ask women, why are you so women are judging each other, and what women think are attractive and what men think is attractive in women are two completely different things. But I'm sitting there asking myself, why are you taking on advice on your, like, so women who always talk down to me, right?
Okay, here it is.
Now they're trashing her because she looks like a girl next door. Oh my God.
There it is. Maggie said it.
Yeah, she's right.
She's right.
There it is.
She's right. She's 100% right. Now they're attacked. She looks like a girl next door. They're a dime a dozen. The woman that's saying it, and that's with makeup on, and probably 5 filters.
Okay, so seriously, like, I have to ask women. So look, you're giving. Okay,
it's mind-boggling.
So other women say you're hideous, but your husband says you're gorgeous. But you listen to the other women. The other women don't want to sleep with you. They're interested in men. Why are you taking advice on your appearance or desirability from people who don't want to sleep with you?
And people who want to sleep with your husband. Because a lot of those women, that's where they really want.
Can I get an amen?
You know, they're out to they're jealous. They want your husband. So if I pretend I'm prettier than you, he'll want me.
Well, it's the same thing I do. The very few number of Chads I meet online who always, say, well, you're ugly or you could be pretty. I was like, okay, fine. And they're like, well, doesn't that bother you? I'm like, no, because I'm not interested in sleeping with you.
Mr. Squirrely likes you just the way you are.
Exactly. So it's like, okay, so why would I give any weight, any credence to the opinion, male or female, of someone that I am not interested in sleeping with and who I'm not in a relationship with? Like, I don't give two fucks who finds me attractive on the internet.
I love Twitter. I love Twitter. It's the best.
The gift that keeps giving.
One of the women that's trashing her, they went and found her photo without the makeup on and posted it. Is this you? Oh, savage.
Women are brutal.
Well, that's a man doing it. If she's mid, what are you? Is what the thing is with her photo. And that's the thing, right? You're seeing, this is what we're talking about. You're seeing the women are pissed about this attractive woman with or without makeup. They're jealous of her. They can't be her, and they know they're not. So they're going to trash her.
Girl?
Who?
Sydney Sweeney.
27, 28, somewhere in there.
Okay, so what are we talking about?
We just some of these women are in their 40s
in our 20s.
Yeah,
how we looked really good in our 20s.
They're attacking her for being white.
Oh my God!
I mean, this is exactly what we're talking about to a T, right? It's like, and the guys are defending her, and of course, the women's response: "You're just enamored with her boobs." No, we're not.
My father told me that I would get farther with long legs than I would with big boobs in life, and he hasn't been wrong yet. And
Depends on the guy.
Well, but if you're sagging, what's the matter?
Yeah. I prefer when they back the dump truck up. That's all I'm going to say.
Roses are red, plums are black. Why is my chest as flat as my back?
Yeah, everybody's got their own thing, right? But to your point, though, Lindsay, none of that matters when they open their mouth.
No.
Right? At least now, does that mean she's got a nice rack and an attractive body, we won't hit it? Sure. Lord knows I did back in the day, right? There it is.
But you're not.
I stuck it in again. But I sure as shit wasn't going to marry him or even date them.
Well, yeah, you'll take advantage of what is being thrown at you, but you're not going to keep it.
Oh, fuck no.
Because it has no value. It's pretty, but it has no value.
Especially because I said earlier, they suck at bed. I mean, come on. And that's where this speaks to exactly what we're talking about. The women are pissed. Now, I would think that they would find the fact that she posted pictures of herself in a bikini with no makeup on.
No, see, if she hadn't done that ad, all the sisterhood would be,
Oh, she'd be,
yes, queen,
go
how
queen,
wonderful of you. You're
Yeah.
showing us what real beauty really
Exactly.
is.
Exactly, right?
And that's
And,
why
you
I don't
know,
believe in the sisterhood.
somebody put up a close-up, and she's got some, looks like zits or whatever you want to call
She's
them. Right?
27.
Who cares? Guys are like, so,
And?
and
But that's proof that so the guys in the comments under that post are proving the point that guys don't necessarily care about all the imperfections the way that women do. Women are micromanaging the facade, and they think that if you don't have the damn lashes, which if anyone wants to know about the history of long eyelashes, tell me. I'll tell you the story where they come from.
You mean cum catchers?
Yes, that cumbrellas.
Yeah. We could say it now because we're not on TikTok.
But it's envy. The women,
that's exactly what it is, right?
It's envy. Women are our own worst enemy, and I've been saying that for as long as I have unfortunately been considered a young woman. Because like I said, I have never had any man ever comment on my appearance or my weight out in public, out in random, other than someone in my family.
Here's
Women
a great one.
Comment on my appearance all the time.
So one of the
Look
guys,
at that,
because the women are just being brutal, right? One of the guys starts talking about Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn Monroe was a gorgeous woman. She was a size 14, 16. People don't know that. I don't know of any guy that doesn't think she's gorgeous. I mean, I'm sure there's some out there, right?
Her thighs touched. She didn't have a thigh gap, and she is still considered one of the most beautiful women.
And women hate her. Hate her. I mean, I remember having a conversation 15 or so years ago with the rowing girls, right? We were driving along, coming back from a regatta, and we actually got into it. And I said, she's drop dead gorgeous. She's a gorgeous woman. And they went off. No, she's not. Blah, blah, blah. And they trashed her. And I'm like, who are you kidding? Well, she's fat. No, she isn't. She's normal. But it just, this whole thing goes to exactly what we're talking about. It's women judging other women and judging men by the same standards they're using to judge other women. And it's going to backfire on all of them.
Well, they're going to destroy themselves.
They already are.
Yeah.
Men have walked away. They're not coming back anytime soon, nor should they. I've said it millions of times. I am in favor of marriage, but
they
now
don't want nagging.
They don't want drama.
No, they don't.
And that's all women today have. All right, we only got a couple minutes, so we got to get things wrapped up. I mean, I'm going to enjoy reading the rest. I'm just scanning through these, and it is just...
You're having entirely too much fun.
It is, because it's just one thing I love about Twitter, man. There's no holding back on it, and people are just...
Well, here's the quote. It said, "It is better to live in a corner of the housetop than in a house shared with a quarrelsome wife." They don't want the nagging. They don't want the constant... And that comes back to guys want respect and peace. And, women will bring strife into a relationship that doesn't need to be strife. And if there is no strife in a relationship, if a woman is happy, we've seen it dozens of times. Other women will try and inject strife into that relationship because misery loves company. He's having entirely too much fun.
Oh,
if she's a 5, you're a -2. Savage. Yeah, sorry. I mean, but now somebody took a picture of her without it. And of course, the woman, Ashley. So they have a picture of her. It looks like she was probably in her teens without makeup on. Not good. Every guy. Yeah, it looks pretty good to me.
Well, see okay, so that's further proof that what women find attractive in other women are not what men find attractive in other women.
Exactly. I mean, I'm glad I found this because it goes to what we're talking about.
So the women who like they said, oh, well, the beauty standard we hear it all the time, the beauty standard for women. The beauty standard for women today is set by other women. Men don't want that. They tell you emphatically, vehemently that they don't want that. See, I used the big word.
correct.
That you don't want that.
Yep.
And yet women say, yes, you do. No, they don't. How many men have you actually talked to?
Well, they haven't. That's the problem, right?
Well, they're taking advice of what men want from other women who have never themselves talked to men.
Because women think they know better than men how men think and feel and what they want. And they will tell you that if you actually listen to them.
Because they're men.
So you know how they made the movie with Mel Gibson about what women want? Someone needs to be brave enough to make one about what men want.
Actually, I think they did, and it bombed. I think they did do one like that. Not with Mel Gibson, with somebody else, but I do remember something like that, and it bombed.
Mel Gibson and Helen Hunt.
Yeah, Helen Hunt was a hottie.
Jeff,
by the way, quick side note. What was the TV show? Mad About You? Was that it?
Mm-hmm.
Go watch the reruns on it. Virtually every show, they have a shot of her ass. Because I was watching some of them, and I kept pointing them out to my wife. There's the ass shot. There's the ass shot. She's like, you would notice that. Yep. It's like every show. Now, I want to know, was it deliberate or not? And believe me, it was a nice one. But anyway, wrap it up. We got to go.
All right, guys. That's all we wrote for today. Bye, guys. Have fun. We'll